Welcome, everybody, to Futlife Tv Podcast. We have a special guest today, Jake Nemo, and he's joining us today to talk about the international games, World Cup qualifications, and the league games that are coming back on this weekend that everyone's excited for and can't wait to see. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're going to get into the international World Cup qualification. That's pretty close call, no? Every team, all the groups were pretty close. All the way up to that last match. There's still some teams still trying to qualify. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, a lot of big teams have been left out. Netherlands, Chile.
Can't believe it. I really can't believe that. That's crazy.
But since the U.S. is out, I got to go to my backup team, Sweden. We've got a playoff game. Hopefully.
Yes,
I need somebody to cheer for.
That's good. Who do they play? Do you know?
October 17th, they'll announce it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So far, the teams that are going to the World Cup are Russia, Brazil, Iran, Japan, Mexico, Belgium, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Germany, England, Spain, Nigeria, Costa Rica, Poland, Egypt, Iceland, Serbia, Portugal, France, Uruguay, Argentina, and Colombia. Congratulations to all those countries for making it to a World Cup, and they all really had to fight. It was yesterday, especially. It's such an exciting. All the group game, all the last games were so exciting. Some teams that like Argentina that people thought were on the way out made it through. Teams that like U.S. that people thought were on the way back in made it out. It was pretty exciting to me.
Well, or you got to look at like Egypt. Salah, when he scored that penalty kick, put them in.
Yeah.
That was kind of a long shot.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, it's the first time, right? First time making it? I think it might be the first time making it. Panama as well. Panama's first time making it as well. That's pretty exciting. It's first time ever making it to a World Cup. Imagine that. Imagine being the person that gets you into that World Cup. The forward for Panama that actually ended up getting him in the World Cup is MLS player. He plays for MLS, and he's the one that scored the winner for them. Imagine that. Imagine being the guy that puts your country in the World Cup for the first time ever. How would you feel? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, and then another one to look at too. This is kind of a sadder situation, but Syria, they made it almost in. They lost to Australia, which is a very good team.
Very good team.
But
very good team.
Another good story. That's what's so great about the World Cup.
Pretty underrated. I think Australia is underrated. And Cahill, their forward, man, he's a good player. I've been a big fan of Cahill. I think is a very good player. It just doesn't get the recognition that he deserves because of he was playing in the MLS, and after that he moved on. But before that, you don't hear too many people talking about him. I really think he's one of the last World Cup. Did you see some of the goals he scored? He's an incredible player, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, like you said, for them, Syria is pretty sad. Pretty sad for for a lot of countries, and pretty exciting for the rest. Sad for U.S., which I could not believe. I personally thought the U.S. would have a walk in the park after the last performance they had. I thought they would do great this one, but unfortunately they had an embarrassing performance, and I really didn't think they put the effort that they really should against Trinidad. That was ridiculous.
Oh, I agree. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words still on that game. You do the hard work. You beat Panama 4-0, and then you lose 2-1 to Trinidad and Tobago. You literally went from third in your division to fifth.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I really, at first I was like, okay, we have to get this win against Panama. If U.S. gets the win against Panama, then U.S. is going through. I thought this game would be a walk in the park. I really did. But what about that goal from almost halfway of the field? Just shipped it right over. Tim Howard. I was really surprised. Seems like he was sleeping. Like, I don't know. U.S. has a lot of problems, and maybe it probably starts at the youth, but some of those things, it's like you can't. And we're talking about Tim Howard. He's played in the English Premier League. He's played against best players in the world. To get scored on from almost midway of the field.
I will disagree with you a little bit on that. That was a good shot. That was a good shot.
Yeah, but he caught him sleeping. He literally, first of all, he went for it too late. He saw it too late. There was no covering in front of it. He just caught off guard with the shot. I think he just wasn't expecting the shot. And his reaction time was very slow to it. And for someone that played for Everton all those years, that's been playing against top players, top teams, you should be more aware.
Well, you just kind of, I think, sort of mentioned a problem, though, because you said played for Everton. The problem is are you taking a veteran goalkeeper now that might be past his prime to do this?
You got a great point. That's what I was trying to get to. That's what I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's absolutely. He did retire from the national team too, didn't he? And then he ended up going back, which I was kind of surprised. I don't know why he went back, but for some reason he did retire from the national team, and just went right back. Maybe he should have stayed retired, I think. But it's not. I think U.S.'s problems go deeper in the goalkeeper. I mean, who do they have really that's really performing other than Dempsey?
I agree with you on that. Well, are we talking MLS standards or international standards?
No, international. Who's in the U.S. team that can make difference between other than those two guys? There's really Bradley was for a while, but I think Bradley is going on the other side of that mountain, that hill, so it's kind of tough for him. But I don't know. I really think U.S. need to work their way up again from their youth academy. I don't think they focus enough on their youth academy. I don't think they. I don't know. I really do think they need to work on their youth academy and try to build better players. And I understand and there's a lot of players that maybe when they're young they do go to Europe and those places and they end up getting citizenships there and playing for them, and those things like that. But it's like I don't know. You just need to, for as big as country and team that U.S. is, they need to put more into that team. For U.S. to not make it in the World Cup for World Cup 2018, I don't know what to say about that. A lot of people are speechless about that.
It's definitely a rough pill to swallow, but I think it's kind of needed.
Wake up call?
Well, we've been relying too much on the same old.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
If you look at the group that we're in to qualify, you have essentially the United States, Mexico, and Costa Rica. And all three of those are an automatic bid in.
Yeah.
And then you have Panama, Trinidad, Tobago, and I'm missing a team. Honduras. So it should be a step in the park, or a walk in the park, to get into there, especially being that the fourth team gets a playoff deal.
Yeah.
And if you can't go through there,
especially when you're the biggest country out of that, you have every opportunity to be top right there with Mexico. Which Mexico, I understand Mexico focuses more on football, and they're more of a football country, and their only focus is on football. So yeah, it's expected for Mexico to be that good as they are. Congratulations to them, they made it in the first place. But it's like you have every opportunity, all the money, all the fundings, all the right tools. What are you doing wrong? You have a coach, you fire the coach, bring in another coach. You fire that coach, bring in another coach, and you fire him and bring in the same guy that you fired before, Klinsmann, And it's kind of like, That's not what you need. You can't go back to that coach. You're trying to go forward. That coach is not going to take you forward. That's not the right coach to move you forward. You know what I mean? They have to think outside the box. I'm really disappointed that U.S. didn't go through. I really thought they were going to go through. I really thought they were going to have a turnaround, especially after the performance they had against Panama. I really think they need a coach, a new coach, and they need to bring in some new players. You know, that's just.
Well, I don't know if the passion was there this year or this group of players, though, too, for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Just being it, especially in the last game against Trinidad and Tobago, there were certain players, Bradley, for example, that, at the 80th minute, he's following his mark when we have the ball. Yeah. And it just didn't seem like there was a want there. But then you had the younger players that were still trying that had never been to a World Cup.
Yeah.
So did we get complacent? But on the other aspect, too, the U.S. fan group is growing so much that what's going to happen after not making the World Cup?
Yeah. Yeah. I think football is bigger than it's ever been in the U.S. I think we can agree there. I mean, every team that comes here, even in the summertime now, they're like, oh, we didn't know the U.S. was this much into football. We didn't know that this is how much followers we had. There was even talks of some Premier League teams playing some of their games in the U.S., because of the following they have. But now it's like, what? We're taking a step back by not going to the World Cup. It's kind of sad, but I do think it's necessary. Probably it is a wake up call. It's like, hey, you need to move forward. Don't go back. You know what I mean? Especially with that coach today. Are you going back? You're going back. Yeah. You're not going forward. You get the same coach that has failed in the past. What makes you think he's going to do something special this time? What teams has he? Yeah. What big teams has he brought up to say, okay, this guy will have better chances than Klinsmann? I don't know. I just don't. I'm just very disappointed.
I believe one of the things with U.S. football or U.S. soccer is I think we get accustomed to familiarities.
Yeah.
And that was the problem, is we got a little panicked when Klinsmann lost that one game.
Yeah.
And then it was like, yeah, well, we got to fire him to make a statement and get everybody riled up.
Yeah.
But then you also looked at who's available right now. Oh, Bruce Arena. We know what he's worth.
Yeah.
And if we're going to make something, we kind of got to get risky, and I really think we need to go outside the realm and maybe go try and find a pure European coach or a pure Latin American coach. Somebody that just has no ties to American soccer or really cares about any of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, let me rephrase that. Cares about U.S. soccer, but I mean, doesn't really care about the MLS or what pull that has.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, I apologize to Egypt and all the Egyptian fans. They have made it to a World Cup, 1934 and 1990. It's just been a long-ass time. So, I mean, 27 years, that's pretty long. Congratulations for making it back after 27. I'm sure a lot of people that have been waiting all that time for it, and so I'm sure they're excited. But apologies, I did make a mistake. Egypt has been to a World Cup in those years, so. But go ahead, I'm sorry. But you're absolutely right. I agree with you, but I really think they do need to they need to figure this out, because U.S. is not only a big country, but it's a big team as well. Last time U.S. didn't qualify for a World Cup was, I believe, before 1990s. U.S. has been a country that's been there every year in the recent, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, just to mention, though, because Bruce Arena, we all know, is going to get sacked.
Big time.
So,
is that who's going?
So, just, as an example, there's a bunch of coaches that are in the MLS and such. And you've got Gerardo Martino. Just might throw that one out there. He's coached, the Argentina national team,
And
Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah.
And he's coaching in the MLS now for Atlanta United FC.
Is he one of the talks for the U.S. coach?
Well, I don't know if they've had any talks yet, but I'm just kind of throwing my.
Why not? If he's already a coach for Atlanta FC, why not? Why not take on the bigger role? Yeah. And you need a coach with experience like that. You need a coach that has those, top teams. Barcelona, Argentina, those are top teams at both levels, international and club. That's what you need. Why not bring him in there?
Yeah,
you got a very good point. He's at Atlanta FC. They have to bring him now. Who else are they going to bring? There's not too many options for U.S. to bring a coach that's that big.
Well, right now you have a lot of good American options, and I don't want to talk down on them, but I think when you need a change and you need it from the ground up, you need to go look elsewhere. And when you got a guy, or just not himself, but just anybody that's worked with other nations that have actually had a youth program and academies from the beginning. Yeah. And just another perspective on it, and then hopefully two forces can collaborate and you can make something that's awesome.
That's what I was saying. I was like, that's what I was the point I was trying to get across was U.S. need to think outside the box. They need to bring someone in outside the box. They need a Klinsman, They need someone like him, but a new, improved, you know what I mean? Someone new, but still with that European and everything experience like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think, I don't think an American coach will be able to do it. Especially an American coach that doesn't have the European experience, that doesn't have experiences in leagues and big leagues, because, that experience is very needed. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a coach for a big team like the U.S., you have to be a big coach that's had some big experience. And I think you're right. Martino would be the perfect candidate for it, and they should bring him in, because I really can't think of anyone else bigger than him that they can bring in. There really is not that many options out there for the U.S. You know what I mean?
Well,
all the big coaches are taken.
Also, the U.S., the one thing is we're going to be different than any other country out there, because soccer isn't the biggest sport.
That's true. You're right. Yeah.
So you aren't getting the top athletes. That's a foot in your mouth comment, but so you're competing with this and that. So you're dealing with another animal here, but at the same time, you also have a very large country, and you can tell just from our national teams, we do have athletes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to, change there.
Yeah.
But you are dealing with a different thing, because to bring a little bit in, look at how much, in the United States coverage that soccer gets compared to college football.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. That's the thing.
Jurgen Klinsmann, Bruce Arena, the coach of the U.S. men's national team, Nick Saban. And I don't even have to tell you who he coaches for.
No, you're absolutely right.
And then you go from like a lot of these European coaches that are used to football is God.
Yeah.
And then they come to the United States. So it is going to be a little bit of a different animal here.
That's true. That's true. They're going to have to adapt, and they're going to have to take charge. They need a big coach to take charge. They really do. They need someone with balls to get in there and take charge. They need someone to take over and say, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we're going to do. Get it done. Like, I don't care what you're focused on. I don't care about your football. I don't care about your basketball. I don't care about anything. This is what I'm focused on. This is when we need to get back on track. Because let's be honest here. Yes, NFL. There's a lot of NFL fans out here in the U.S. There's a lot of fans. Maybe there's some fans out there around the world for the NFL and NBA. But when you reach the World Cup, the world is watching, not just U.S.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you need to focus on more. And it's like you have the opportunity to build that team up, to make that team like an NBA all-star team. You know what I mean? Like, What country has more opportunities in the U.S. to make a team like that?
And that's what's great about football or soccer is it's international.
Yeah.
There is nothing like the World Cup out there that can bring every country together and they just play soccer.
Exactly. And the last World Cup, U.S., how well did they do? In a group with Germany, Portugal? They made it through. They were one of the teams that come through that group.
Sir.
And if I'm not mistaken, they tied both teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's like, this year, you're expecting a U.S. team that's dominant, you know what I mean? Especially in the qualifications against teams. I'm not trying to disrespect any of the other teams in this group, you know? But let's be honest here. Mexico and U.S. should have been the two top teams, number 1 and 2.
I'll tell you one thing, though, that I noticed. Last World Cup, look at what players played over in Europe. And then qualifying for this World Cup, played in the MLS.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I hate to say it, but you have Bradley, and then you have Tim Howard, are just two off the top of my head. And two very big players in our team. And they go from playing in a very, very, the Premier League, best league in the world.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
The MLS. Which, not knocking it, but...
It was a big step down. Big step down. Less competition. You take it easy more. You get used to taking it easy more. It's a whole different level. Playing in the Premier League keeps you sharp every single game. The Premier League has no bottom team.
Well,
any team is a challenge.
And when you play in a league like the Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, even French League One.
Even Bundesliga.
And Bundesliga. Sorry, I don't like to mention a couple of those. But, personal. But you're going to be playing against, week to week, the same players that you're going to be playing against in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Where the MLS, if you aren't American, you're not going to be playing against them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. You're absolutely right, actually. But...
Well, I mean, we've got this game this weekend. Liverpool's going to be playing Manchester United.
That's going to be a crazy game.
But that's like a million World Cup players playing against each other. Yeah. On Liverpool, you'll have Salah, Mane, Coutinho,
everybody,
and then the English players. And I'm sure I'm missing what? Has Belgium made it?
Oh yeah, Belgium.
Okay, so
Belgium is one of the top teams in Europe. They're in ridiculous form. They're just.
Okay. So right there, you have like 6 different countries on Liverpool. I don't know how many different countries you have on Manchester United. So you're looking at pre-World Cup matches just on one match. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it really is. You get to see all those players. Like, if I'm mistaken, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure all the players on those two teams are international players. I mean, they should be. They're all top players. Both teams have quality.
I'm sure
they really do. Yeah. Both teams have quality. I'm really looking forward to that game. But we'll get to that when we start talking about the Premier League, which I can't wait for this weekend. But, Belgium, we were talking about Belgium. Belgium is a very good team. Young players, all in fantastic form. Hazard, you have one of the best goalkeepers in the world, They have a ridiculous team. Honestly, I really think they're one of the countries that are not being looked at as much as they should be looked at for this World Cup coming up.
I have to say that. Were you talking about Mignolet, best World
What?
Sorry.
He's a great player. He's a great goalkeeper as well. He really is. Mignolet does make some beautiful saves. People do criticize him. He does make little mistakes that maybe do cost some goals that do cost games. But if you see some of the big saves he makes, he's a great goalkeeper.
Oh, an amazing shot stopper.
Yeah, he really is.
I wish he'd quit trying to show me his foot skills.
Yeah, I really do. I really think he's...
I've got it, Mignolet. You've got foot skills. You're good.
We get it. We get it. But Belgium is a very exciting team, I think, this World Cup. That's one of the teams people definitely have to be looking out for. Another team, Argentina. A lot of people were saying that they're not going to make it. A lot of people were counting them out already, saying, "Oh my goodness, this is going to be the World Cup without Messi." And Argentina, who has been in the World Cup for God knows how many years. Like, it's going to be, if they wouldn't have made it, it would have been a huge disappointment. And not only because of how big Argentina is as a club, as a football team, but Messi. Imagine a World Cup without Messi. Imagine a World Cup without Messi and Ronaldo, the two biggest players in the world. You know what I mean? Any of those players missing from a World Cup is a big loss.
Well, that game, Messi proved why Messi's Messi.
Yeah.
Hands down. I think you just said, whoa, Ronaldo. I'll see you there.
Yeah, he said, wait a minute.
Hat trick? What?
We might not go through? Okay, you know what? Forget this. I'm tired of counting on the rest of these guys. I'm taking over. And what he did, 2 goals, he literally took the ball himself around 3-4 defenders. Took the ball himself, put him right in that top corner, you know? And the tap in, it was great play. Pass, get it back, tap it. I think the problem is that with Argentina is that people don't work with Messi like the Barcelona players do. You know what I mean? You see Messi all the time in Barcelona, constantly. Messi passing the ball, making those runs in, and first time, they pass it right back to him. You know what I mean? Tap, tap. Argentina, you don't. Argentina, you see Messi tapping it to them turning the other way, or them taking touches, and you know what I mean? It's like, dude, you don't do that. You have a like Zlatan said, you have a Ferrari and you want to drive it like a Fiat. You can't use them. Give him the tap-ins. You want to use Messi as much as you can, and that you have to work with him. Those one-time passes, those tap, 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 tap in. You know, the Barcelona way.
I agree with you, and I think come World Cup time, when they have time to play with each other, they'll get there. Yeah. But that's what's so kind of really cool about international soccer is you're taking a bunch of players that are superstars that don't play together and all right, let's see what you got.
Yeah, that's true. And they're all used to different systems, different coaches coaching them, different players. And you're like, all right, this is the game, this is the system, adapt. You know what I mean? And I know they have like a week or a couple of days or so to get back training again, but come on. You know what I mean? You can't change a system that's built into you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Germany is so successful, because most of the German players play in Germany, you know, and their system is such a computer system that's like, I really don't think, it doesn't matter who you put in there, it's going to come out with the same outcome. So.
Oh, I completely agree. Another example is Russia.
Yeah.
The last World Cup, the Russian coach only took players that played in the Russian league.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
And they did halfway decent. Yeah. I think that could be said, and maybe the U.S. should maybe look at something like that.
Yeah, why not? I mean, why not? The U.S. definitely needs to change whatever they're doing. They really need to change the system. They need to change the whole system. You know, you do have some young, talented players in the U.S.
What is the system?
Build a system around them. The shitty system they have now. It makes no sense. It's like you're bringing in players that don't need to be there.
Well, that's what I mean. What is a system right now? What is the United States identity?
They don't have an identity. They have shitty systems that everyone tries. And it's like, oh, you have your key players like Dempsey, like and those players. Mm-hmm. You're like Bradley, and you're like, okay, I'm going to try to use those guys the most. But there's no real system. You know what I mean? It's just you trying to use those players to move forward. It's like you're counting on those players without a system. They don't have a backbone. There's no backbone in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like they have to come up with their so-called system, which they don't have a system, I don't think. I really don't think they have a system. Their so-called system. Style. Yeah, they don't.
The United States, I think what they're missing is an identity.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have that's what I'm saying. They put all the pressure on the couple players that they think that are their key players, you know? But it's like, okay, let's say those 3 players have a bad game. What's your plan? What are the rest of the players going to do? When they're told, it's kind of like basketball. It's like, give Jordan the ball. Give Jordan the ball. It's the end of the game. Give Jordan the ball. It's like, what if Jordan's injured? Who are you going to give the ball to? What are you going to do? It's like it's this thing. They don't have a system. They're like, look at Germany's system. I honestly believe, any of those players can go missing. They'll find players to fit in that system. You know?
Well,
if you lose key players, they can fill in those key players with their system that they have. Because they have an identity, like you said. They have the system. They have that backbone. They have a style. U.S. doesn't. U.S. is still trying to figure it out. They started getting a system under Klinsmann in the last World Cup too, but didn't work out. So they really do. They do need to find that. You're right. But we'll see. Hopefully they get it by the next World Cup. Because if U.S. misses 2 World Cups in a row, that's taken way too many steps back. You know, for a country that's moved so forward with football.
Agreed.
We'll see. Hopefully they can find that right coach that can bring him that system, that can see those, that can fit the players, the right players in the right places. You know what I mean? I personally don't think Altidore has any business being on that field. Great job against Panama. Good job. Great. That's nice. What else?
Oh,
I really don't see him. And you know, he's a big guy. He's a big force. It's like you those big forces on teams, you expect those guys to show up. You know what I mean? You should expect your star forward, especially this guy as big as him, as powerful as him, as big of a force that he has as him. You expect him to show that force, you know? Not, what did he do last World Cup? 18 seconds he played. He pulled his hamstring. This time, the only decent game he's had, in my opinion, was against Panama. And after that, what did he do last game?
yeah. If you go back on it, remember when Jurgen Klinsmann left Landon Donovan out of the World Cup squad?
Which I really disagreed with.
See, I agreed with it, actually. I thought that was a good move.
Really?
And the reason I did is I thought Landon Donovan's an older player. He's a smaller player and such. But he's been playing in the system for too long. He doesn't have the hunger. And he's not up to par. And I think Jurgen was trying to make a statement when he left him out also, as in, hey, I'm looking to the next generation, trying to get the younger, more hungry people in. And if you look at it, we made it out of the AKA group of death in that World Cup.
Yeah, but without him. Imagine if we had Donovan instead of him. Then you would have had another forward.
But he left Landon Donovan out. We made it out of the group of death.
Yeah,
what if Landon
but that was without
Donovan
Altidore. That's without Altidore there. Yeah. You know, the first game, 18 seconds, he pulled out.
No, but what I was going to get to on this was, okay, Bruce Arena comes back in. Maybe Jurgen was hinting at something that, hey, these older players are going to be the death of the U.S. this year.
Yeah.
And that's why we lost that one game.
Yeah.
Gave him a chance, you never know. But, of course, Bruce Arena comes back in and goes to the old school, hey, let's find the all-star American MLS players and put them on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then you have players like Jose Altidore, Clint Dempsey, which was very disappointing.
Oh, man. He did make a good sub. I think he changed the game against Trinidad. Why did he not start against Trinidad?
That's what I don't understand. Is if you're not able to play a full game, why are we not giving that spot to younger players that can?
Yeah. Because
I don't know. That one I was kind of bewildered.
But yeah, like honestly, you're right. And Klinsmann's plan was long term. You know, he was like, I'm going to bring the younger players. I want to leave some of the guys like Donovan out. He's getting old. He's on the other side of the hill. You're absolutely right. He wanted to give chance and build a U.S. team. But the thing is, that U.S. team doesn't really have the foundation to, you know what I mean? They depend on their players like Donovan. You know, especially in that last World Cup. I honestly think Donovan could have made a difference. I really do. You know, because yes, you took Altidore, great. He's younger. He's more. He was playing in the English Premier League, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, great. I understand. I really didn't like it because I didn't think he was as good. I think Donovan was a better player even at that age. But that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to build that team up, bring in that youth. But that's when he played 18 seconds. He was out. It left us without a good forward.
Well, you can't fault a guy for injuries.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, every player, you want to play in the World Cup. You don't want to get injured.
You're absolutely right. That's true. But anyways, the World Cup qualifications were all exciting, great matches, close as hell. Like literally yesterday's games determined most of the people's fate to go into the World Cup. That's what you want to see. You really want to see it that close,
It was a really fun day to watch soccer.
Exactly, it really was. But anyways, moving on to the leagues that are coming back. All the leagues that are coming back this weekend, which I'm sure everyone can wait for.
Oh yeah,
especially leagues like the Premier League, which are neck and neck, top teams all going at it. You know what I mean? I love it. But Premier League. Let's start with the Premier League. Like all there are very good matches going on this weekend. One of the matches I'm really looking forward to is the Liverpool and Man U match. That's going to be a huge match. That, like you were saying before this show, that match really determines the two clubs' position. Man U in the top position and Liverpool in the fighting chances of the league. In the league title race.
I think this match will determine who's going to be challenging for a title.
Yeah.
If Man United wins, they're for real. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
And Liverpool, we need to win. We need to win bad.
Yeah. Liverpool definitely needs to turn things around.
But if we do win, I think we're back in title contention.
I agree. I think if Liverpool can defeat Man U, it will show that they are turning things around, that they are working on things, and they're back as being one of the contenders. They should be. A lot of people thought Liverpool was favorite for this season.
Yeah.
But it looks like right now, so far, it looks like the Manchester teams are favorites to win. They both had a dominant performance so far. They really are playing very well. They're scoring goals. I really think they have it figured out. But that's the thing. Teams that like Liverpool, like Tottenham, those are teams that can slow these teams down. Those are teams that can, shoot the horse down. They can really. Liverpool can really change the direction of the season, like the way things are going, by winning against Man U. And Manchester City, same way. Manchester City can get beat by a Liverpool, a Tottenham, and those teams, a Chelsea, and be in the same position as Man U, trying to fight back for a top spot. And that's what makes the Premier League the best league in the world. I think the biggest league in the world, because you have teams like that can dominate, and you have teams that can piss on your parade. I love it. But this Liverpool and Man U game is a big game. I really think it's pretty decisive in the league, and it's a big match. So I'm looking forward to that match for sure. But
another couple that are worth watching though too would be West Ham is playing Burnley.
Yeah.
And man, the amount of money they spent, they need to win.
Yeah, they did. They spent a pretty good amount of money. Premier League teams all have a lot of money to spend now for the TV deals and everything they've got going on, which is great because it gives more chance to the so-called smaller teams. You know what I mean? Look at 2 years ago, Leicester won the league. And Leicester ended up spending some good money as well after that. And like you said, Burnley.
The other team, Everton.
Yeah.
Everton spent a lot.
Yeah, they did. They did bring in some big players. They did bring in big players.
But both of those teams are in the bottom half of the league.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the Premier League. All those teams are now starting to spend good money, so it's making it a lot more, a lot closer. Definitely. That's why it really is the best league in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Because Leicester proved it at any day. a bottom team can win that league. You know?
Well, and they didn't win it with bad players either. Those were top-class players. But where did they come from?
That they didn't spend that much money. They spent, what, $400,000 on Mahrez?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't spend not that much at all on Conte. You know what I mean? The players that they brought, they really didn't spend much money on them at all. Oh, yeah. And it's crazy because, like, that's honestly, that's what I like to see. If I could see a team like Leicester not spending that much money and then coming in winning the league, I love that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That shows the big teams that are spending hundreds and hundreds of millions. Like, hey, it's the system. It's the way the guys play. It's the way these people want it. You know, they fought. Leicester fought every match. You know.
Well, Jamie Vardy, you know, he was working at I believe a carbon fiber factory.
Yeah, he was an alcoholic
4 or 5
and
years
like
ago, you know.
Yeah.
And then he sets a record for most consecutive games with a goal.
Exactly.
But who did he beat out? Robin van Persie, one of the best forwards ever.
Yeah.
Like a guy that was working in a factory.
You have to give him credit. Like, you can't take away anything from Leicester and Vardy. Out of nowhere, he came out of nowhere, and he's one of the best strikers in the world. You know, you have to give the guy a credit. He really deserves it, and he really was. Him, Mahrez, Conte, those three players were the key reasons of winning that league. You know, and I understand the rest of the big teams were in kind of a bad form. You know, they were struggling a little, but come on, the year before that, around the time they were in first place, Leicester they were fighting relegation. You know? And the year after, they won the Premier League. You have to give these guys credit. Yes. They really did. They earn it. They really do. But that's exactly what makes football as great as it is. That's why it is the biggest sport in the world. That's why everyone in the world watches this sport, because they love to see this fairy tale, Cinderella stories, you know, if you would. And I think this is one of the only sports that brings you that, you know.
Yes, sir.
It's beautiful. But there are a lot of great matches going on in the Premier League. Those are a lot of games to look forward to. I'm looking forward to a Premier League this year, period, because I do think that it's probably going to be one of the most competitive seasons ever in the Premier League. You know, but you know, there are other leagues that have very exciting matches, like La Liga. La Liga has a lot of good matches this weekend. I think La Liga is growing. It's coming right behind. It's right behind the Premier League. You know, you have teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, Valencia. You know, these teams, they can perform at any level, in my opinion now, you know. And it wasn't really like that before. The past 10, 15 years, it's been Barcelona, Madrid, you know. Atletico here and there, but mostly Barcelona and Madrid. They've been dominating in Europe. They've been dominating in Spain. And then you see teams like Sevilla winning, 3 consecutive Europa Leagues, you know?
Yes, sir.
For a team like Sevilla, you have to acknowledge the fact that La Liga is growing. Those teams from Spain are growing. They're coming up right behind that Premier League. I think Premier League did set an example, and people in every league is trying to follow it. You know, you had the Serie A back in the day. That was very consistent as well, but they're not doing as well. But La Liga, I think they're right behind the Premier League. And this weekend, there's a lot of exciting matches this weekend. One of the matches I'm looking forward to definitely is the Atletico Madrid and Barcelona game. That's going to be a huge game. Atletico Madrid, fantastic team. And the game will be in their new stadium. So I'm sure they're going to have a lot of energy. They're one of the best teams in the world. They've made it to 2, 3 Champions League finals in the past 4 years or so. They really need to. Yeah, exactly. They really need to. They don't get the recognition they deserve. And I think people really need to look at them. And this game is going to be a very difficult game because you have a Barcelona that doesn't have Neymar this year, and their replacement for Neymar is injured, So it's even going to make that game even more closer. And I really think Atletico is a big threat, Barcelona have to go there, have to perform. Every player has to be at their 100% in this game,
Talking Atletico, man, they've got the strikers, and then they're going to get Diego Costa back.
In January, yeah. Imagine that.
Everybody kind of talks, but man, Griezmann up there, I think he's world class.
Big time.
Easily.
Big time.
I'd put him up against any of the other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, did you hear they asked, Mbappe, who he'd rather play with, Griezmann or Neymar?
He picked Griezmann.
No, he didn't pick.
He picked Griezmann, didn't he?
No, he just said, I believe, what was it? Neymar was more creative, but Griezmann was more technical, or something along the lines.
He basically was saying, I'd rather play with Griezmann, but I'm playing with Neymar. So, but I mean, man, Griezmann, he really is world class. He really is up there with those big top players.
Mm-hmm.
He's performed very well for France and for Atletico, and he really deserves credit. Man U is after him, Real Madrid's after him, Barcelona was after him. Who doesn't want this guy? Who doesn't want Griezmann? He really is a difference maker, and he's the player that's took Atletico as far as they have now. They lost Falcao, they lost Diego Costa, and Griezmann has really stepped up.
Yeah, but they got Torres up there with them.
They do have Torres up. Torres is a great player.
Griezmann, Torres, that's I mean, try and name me an attacking duo.
Yeah, it's true. That's
a very good attacking duo.
And then imagine January when you have your Costa in there. You have Costa in there. Your attacking force is going to be crazy. You have Costa. You have Torres. You have Griezmann. It's.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only way you could get to that would be if you could somehow maybe get Messi and Ronaldo together.
That's true. That's true. Which I would pay anything to see.
And I don't know. Just noticed through the last year or two, Griezmann and Torres, they played good together.
They did.
But not good enough to win.
No.
So.
Yeah. And I think Atletico in big games like final games, I think they crack. I think against Real Madrid, they played Real Madrid with two finals, didn't they? And both finals, Real Madrid showed they're the more experienced team. They're the most experienced side, and they showed why. You know what I mean? Why they're so dominant. They were very relaxed. They played their game against an Atletico that was very nervous. That seemed like you could tell that they're not used to being, in that position that they were. But I think it'll change. I really do think it will change. I think they are starting to get that feeling that they are that big of a club, and it's starting to click to them that they are. So I think they are going to be more comfortable if they do make it to more finals. But you could definitely see their inexperience in those stages.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, Real Madrid playing very well as usual. They're a very good team. They did have a little bad form, a couple of slips, couple of ties, but it's very early. I think they can still get back to being the top team in that league. And Barcelona is showing great form. They've been winning all the games. They're getting all those 3 points, those crucial 3 points, And they really need to keep it up because they are playing a team like Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid is that team that can take those 3 points away from you, those crucial 3 points away from you. So they really need to fight this weekend for that. Madrid's playing, I believe, Malaga, if I'm not mistaken, or is it Granada? They're playing. They're playing Getafe. I apologize. They're playing Getafe, and I think they should have an easy time. I really do. I think a lot of their players have a boost from international break and the excitement they got from their teams making it to the World Cup. I think they're gonna do very well, and they're gonna get those 3 points as well. They should. I mean, you expect a team like Madrid to get those 3 points against a team like Getafe. No, nothing against Getafe, great club, but Madrid is one of the top teams in the world. You know, you expect those teams to go in there and get those 3 points against any team that's that's lower than them in that way. But like I said, La Liga is right behind Premier League in excitement and competitiveness, so should be exciting. Serie A has a lot of good matches this weekend as well. Lazio and Juventus is going to be a great match, I think.
Roma, Napoli.
Oh, that's going to be a great match. Roma and Napoli is probably the game I'm looking forward to most in that league.
Serie A, I think it's a good league right now.
Yep.
I've really enjoyed watching it. It's kind of like the Premier League. You've got Juventus. It's, of course, been running the league, but, man, Lazio, where'd they come from? You got Roma, Napoli, and then you've got both of the Milan teams.
Yeah.
And
who are trying to spend big money, who are really trying to spend money to get their teams back to where they were, you know? You're right. They are. It really is. I think Serie A is really coming back to where they were. You know, there used to be a dominant league. Teams like Inter, AC Milan, Juventus. You know, they're Napoli back in the day. You know, they were dominant in Europe. And I think you're starting to see that league come back up. You know, to where they should be, because for a lot of years they were very disappointing. You know, and they really weren't challenging in the Champions League, which Juventus has been for the past 3-4 years. You know, so that's really good. And then you see, like you said, the teams in the league now really performing well. Really, the games are getting really competitive again. So it's really good. It's really good news for Serie A fans and Italy, because it really is bringing it back to the old Serie A.
Yeah.
But a lot of good games again coming in the Serie A match as well.
Ooh,
all these leagues we're going to have online on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're going to have all these leagues, all the schedules put up. So follow us on all those so you can see.
Yeah, we're talking Serie A. You saw the Milan matches on Sunday. Inter versus AC.
Yeah, the Italian Classico, right? Italy's Classico.
Sorry, just had to put a little word in for that. That is a big
definitely.
game.
I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that, because both teams are trying to build that team back up. Both teams are spending money. And this summer and this January, they're planning on spending a lot more money. So that's going to be a great match between two teams who are trying to rebuild that history, you know? So
oh, yeah.
It really is. I'm glad you said something about that.
It's kind of one of those, too. They both play in the same stadium, so it's never really a home or away match.
Yeah, they're both in Milan. They are both representing Milan. It really is fun. It really is fun to watch. And that really is going to be a great match. That really is going to be a good one.
I hope so.
Yeah. So don't miss that match. Out of any matches in that league, you don't want to miss that match. That's going to be crazy.
Really, all 6 teams have good matches. It's kind of random.
The top teams this weekend, all top teams are playing against each other.
Yeah. Juventus, Napoli, Roma.
Yeah, don't miss Serie A this weekend. That's for sure.
I hate to say it, I might have to be changing my plans on what I'm watching. I'm kind of getting excited.
Yeah, and it's in good times here as well.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect time to watch on a Sunday. Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I love you, Liverpool, but I'm going to have to get up.
Yeah. And on Bundesliga, there'll be exciting matches as well. I think Dortmund is in first place right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it's beautiful to see. Like I was saying, before we get into Bundesliga, one thing I want to ask you about. Did you watch the last Juventus game? They had that video assistant referee come into play. And it was in a weird situation, because the play was in midfield. There was a foul in midfield. Juventus took the ball, attacked, and it led to a pass. It led to like a pass and a goal, right?
Okay.
Once they scored, People were celebrating and everything. The ref stopped the game, brought it back. Said, wait a minute. There was a foul back then. Back there, you know? We're taking them back to that foul. And it's like, wait a minute. I thought this was only used for crucial points. Like penalties, like handballs in the box, like goals, like dives in the box. You know? It's like, where do you draw the line? Now I understand that it did lead up to a goal, but it led to a pass, it led to a pass, it led to a goal. Where do you draw the line?
I think with the video assistant referee, it's so new.
Yeah.
And we've never seen it before. But that's all. Well, before I say this, so Diego Maradona, the hand of God. If you had video assistant referee.
Exactly, for those moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, since it is new and you have all these referees that have been reffing for many years.
Yeah.
Never had this before. You're going to see different referees interpreting it different. And then FIFA's going to come back and I think look at it and sort of realize like, oh, these are all these random scenarios.
Yeah.
That one I feel was a little, because I just remember it was either play on or you called a foul.
Exactly. If you missed a foul in midfield, you just move on. You just missed the foul. You don't call it back like, no, we missed the foul. But hey, eventually they got a goal. Let's call it back for that foul.
But did that referee, is that maybe why he didn't call it back? Because he's like, well, if they do score, then I can call it back? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know on that. But just since it's so new, I think people are going to interpret it different and look at what it's used for a little different.
And I think a lot of the refs are dying to use it, to be one of the first guys to be like, oh, we use this technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's in human nature wanting to do it. But it's like, you have to. That changed the game. They tied their last game because of that. You know what I mean? That goal could have changed the game. They could have won 3-2.
No.
So
the only thing I really like it for, other than the goal line, is offsides.
Yeah, absolutely.
On free kicks and this or that.
Yeah.
When, whistle isn't blown until after. Because as a lineman, I actually did it for a little bit. It's almost impossible to get a perfect view.
Yeah. It's so tough. The quick movements, especially with the offside trap, it's really difficult. It really is.
And I was always on the side to almost judge more for it not being offsides than it being offsides.
Yeah.
But like you said, the speed of people and just that's the last thing you want to do is call a guy offsides when he isn't offsides.
Exactly. And if it leads to a goal, and a game-changing goal,
Yeah.
Those are big moments. I mean, imagine if we had the goal line take goal line technology for instance. Imagine if we had the goal line technology for the game England versus Germany. When Lampard hit the post, bounced in, bounced out.
Yeah.
They lost, I believe, 1-0. If they would have got the goal, that would have gave them the momentum. That would have gave them a whole adrenaline rush to even. You never know what can happen. If it was a tie game at that moment, you see a war, and you don't know how it's going to end up. So it's like, yes, I understand technology is important. The goal line technology was very good. I love the goal line technology. And I think something like this, the video assistant referee, is very important, because it can change games. You've seen a lot of games changed by bad calls, wrong calls. So I really do agree with it, but you have to draw the line somewhere. You have to draw the line. You have to only use it for crucial points. And I know it led to a goal, but in reality, it led to a pass, it led to a pass, it led to a goal.
Yeah. My biggest thing, too, is with the referee, I love when they let it play or let it flow.
Yeah.
The less, if you don't see a referee all game, I think that's an awesome referee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes, granted, that's not possible. But,
yeah. I mean, sometimes they do get pretty dirty in there, so you'd have to call.
But,
but for most wise, you're right. You do want to see the ref let go of some little things.
Yeah. A great game, in my opinion, is when you forget a ref's out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. But Well, anyways, I really think that is a good idea, but and on top of that, it took so much time. It took so much time.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but anyways,
they're watching the American football.
yeah, that's the thing I said too. And the last thing I was like, okay, what's next? 2-minute warnings, challenges, you know? That's good. Then you're looking at a 90-minute game that's going on for 120 minutes, 110, 120 minutes. I don't know. I think they do need to only put it on crucial points. They really need to figure out how to only use it for those crucial points or crucial moments. So we'll see. But Bundesliga, a lot of matches going on this weekend, a lot of good matches. Dortmund is in first place. Bayern is struggling. Got rid of their coach. You know, a lot of players are saying bad things about the coach. I thought Ancelotti is a big coach, great coach. I didn't think he was right for Bayern. You know, I really didn't think Guardiola was right for Bayern. I think Bayern need same Germany system. This Germany system that they have in the international league, that's the system they need at Bayern, which they have. But when you have coaches like Ancelotti and Guardiola coming in trying to put in a new system and that German style football, this is the result you're going to see. You know, you're going to see them getting knocked out of the Champions League. You're going to see them behind in their own league. You know, taking no credit away from Dortmund. Great club, great team. Yeah. You know, exciting players, young players who are performing great. And they're in first place for a reason. You know, they are fighting out there. But it's like a team like Bayern.
They're also, you know, they're tied with Hoffenheim and then Red Bull. Is it Leipzig?
Yeah.
Which, you know, they're kind of the new dog. I think it's showing a little bit, too, that the Bundesliga and Bayern have gotten sort of in this set system that you've got these new young guys, because Hoffenheim has a very young coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he should probably still be playing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Red Bull, they're just kind of out of the blue. Granted, they have amazing players.
Yeah.
Liverpool's getting one of them, thank God. So it's just starting to show that, you know, you've got all these young talents coming in. I think it's just football's changing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you see it even at an international level. You see big teams not making it. You know, it really is. It's changing. A lot more talent from different places coming up, you know. And a lot of other teams are getting money and able to work a good system and buy some players that they need. And it really is. There's a lot more talent out there. The leagues are becoming closer. And, yeah, there are tied in points with those teams. So it makes it that much more exciting to watch the Bundesliga. This year is not Bayern dominating. It's not Bayern winning when there's 10 league games left, you know?
Bayern wins by 20 points.
Exactly. And there's still
right behind them.
Yeah, and there's like 10 league games left still. They're already celebrating. This year is different. Everything is different this year. You know, in every league, in international club levels, everything.
Yeah. Well, it's the year before a World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. So I love it. Bundesliga games are going to be great. They're going to be very exciting to see. And hopefully Dortmund can still remain at top spot and make Bayern fight for it, you know? So we'll see. And League One, PSG is cruising so far, but you never know. You know, Monaco is right behind them. Marseille is right behind them. So you never know. In League One, if PSG starts having a bad form, which I think PSG has some problems with their players, because PSG has all these players with big egos and they think they're the main man, but it's a Neymar team. You know, that team is Neymar's. People have to accept it. People have to learn. People have to move on. That team is Neymar's because of a lot of reasons. First of all, the attention he brings. Money. Exactly. The money spent on him, the money that you're going to continue to spend on him, the attention you're putting on him. All the attention is on Neymar, you know? PSG is putting all their focus on Neymar. And that brings problems with players like Cavani, who have been performing very well for lot of years for that team, since they moved there. And I think Cavani's feeling like he's being pushed to the side almost when he scored a ton of goals last season and the season before that for that team, And I think it's very possible for PSG to slip points having those internal problems like that,
Yeah, but I will give PSG, though, they brought in, on the other end, Danny Alves.
Yeah.
And he knew what he was coming into.
Oh, yeah.
So they're bringing in some veterans.
Yeah.
And also, they're bringing in those young guns like the Mbappe, which I'm kind of scared. I think PSG might be able to make a good run at it this year.
Yeah, I don't think they'll win the Champions League because of some of the problems they have, but I do think they'll win the league this year. I think they're going to have a dominating season in the league.
I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit on that. Not saying they will, but I could definitely see them in the finals for the Champions League this year.
I mean, dude, given the talent they have, given the players they have, I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it. If they win the Champions League even, I really wouldn't doubt it. I personally don't think they will this season, but if they do, I would not be surprised one bit.
Well, the little issues we're talking about, between Neymar and Cavani. Greg Cavani does have more goals than Neymar.
Yep.
But those are just little team deals. That's kind of petty. It's going to get sorted out. But if you really look on the field and it's not a free kick, have you seen them fighting?
No.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, free kicks and penalties, which they stopped fighting now because penalties are going to Neymar now. Last game, they had a penalty, no argument. Ball straight to Neymar.
Well, and that's probably one of those that you have to blame on the coach right there.
Yeah.
Which he's got to look at it when you've got those big of personalities.
Yeah.
Hey, we actually do need to say this, where on other teams it's probably a no-brainer. Like, I don't give a crap who takes the penalty. But then he's probably like, dadgummit, Neymar, Cavani, come here.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the thing is, that's the thing. That coach is not big enough to handle those big enough players. When you have that many egos on one team, it takes a big coach with big balls and big, to be able to control those players. There's no way Emery can control Neymar, Di Maria, Cavani, Mbappe. And wait till Mbappe actually gets a position in that team, Then it's going to be like, okay, well, I'm a big talent.
See,
everyone's going to say I'm a big talent. But I really think they can move forward if they agree. Neymar's our talent. Neymar's our Messi.
See, I don't think they have a coach. I think they've got a delegator. And that's what he's going to be awesome at. You don't need to show or teach these guys how to play football. They know what they're doing.
Oh, definitely.
You
have to control them. You do have to control them.
Well, and that's what's happening. And it's just like anything, you take the two biggest, baddest guys on the playground. Eventually, they're going to talk, they're going to push, and, that's what Cavani and Neymar, eventually, somebody's going to butt up, and they just got put in the pecking order.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. But, we'll see. I mean, hopefully they'll keep it together and they won't, slip points. Because, they're a very exciting team to watch with fantastic players, a lot of talent. So if they do win Champions Leagues, they'll just make them that much more exciting to watch,
I hope they don't win Champions League, but I'd like to see them in the finals.
Yeah, it would be. It's expected for a team that spent that much money and brought in that much talent to do something, to at least be in the final. But
the reason I don't want them to win it is because I don't want that presumption that you can buy a Champions League.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel PSG's been trying to do for a while.
Yeah, they have been. But, we'll see. But anyways, these are things that are going on in the football world now. This weekend, a lot of exciting games. Look out for the matches, the schedule, and everything. Follow us on Facebook so you can see all that on Futlife TV, on Instagram at Futlife TV, and on Twitter at Futlife TV 1. We'll have the match results, schedules, and everything else on there. Do you have anything else you want to say about it, or?
No, you covered it all, man.
Yeah. thank you, Jake, for coming on the show. And
thanks for having me.
it was fun.
Hope I didn't offend too many of you guys.
Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time on the Futlife TV Podcast. Thank you all for coming.